Hey, yo, what up, y'all? Welcome to Thinkers Anonymous. You back again with your boy EIG, and I just want to thank you for that. If you've subscribed, if you've listened, I really appreciate just your time. I can't say that enough, but thank you. But we're going to get right to it, y'all. We're going to get right to business here. We've talked through some things. I think this is 5 episodes, so y'all that have been rocking with me, thank you again. And, we're going to keep it going. So let's dig in. Today's episode is called Can't Shake the Feeling. Can't shake the feeling. I know I'm not the only one who's ever been in that place where something felt so bad and you wanted to get over it. Like you wanted to be done feeling how you were feeling. You wanted to be done hurting, but you couldn't. Those thoughts always in your mind. Anybody else? Now, if you're able to shake things off and, hey, you can go the positive route, hey, no need. Hey, this isn't for you. But those that this does apply to, those that have tried all the things like podcasts and books and church and drinking and whatever else, to those people who know that your thoughts are driving you wild and you know it. Well, to those people, may I suggest that you've already got the tools you need to make a change in this area. You already got it. I know we've reached out for a lot of things. I know we can pay for this and invest here and do that for something to change in our lives, but you've already got what you need. And that tool is honestly, it's just a good, nice, sharp pair of scissors. and I say that metaphorically because, there's some ties in your life that must be cut. They gotta go. There's some chains that's gotta be broken. In other words, detachment has gotta take place. If you're tired of this, if there's things that get to you, that overwhelm you and weigh on you and have you emotionally in places that you truthfully don't like being and don't want to be, it's going to take detachment. Now, detachment isn't just, hey, cutting off somebody. You know what I mean? Anybody, you get mad enough, you can do that. Right? Somebody make me mad, disrespect me, do something that just really upset me or bothered me or rubbed me the wrong way. It's easy to cut you off. But detachment isn't that. I'm talking about detaching from just identifying with people or the problem. That's what we got to detach from. Truthfully, from people or whatever issue we're dealing with, if it's not a person per se. Think about that. But how do we detach? How does that happen? Well, here's some things that we got to make happen. One of the first things is the need to be right. Man, the need to be right. Think about that. And when it comes to people anyway, and we've got a disagreement, a lot of it, we really got to be right. A lot of, in that situation, even if someone says, hey, that's just wrong and they should know it, and, that wasn't right, because both sides feel that they're right? Both sides. Nobody feels that they're wrong, but in order to truly be free from that person, to be free from being controlled by someone else, is you have to detach. Meaning I can't care about whether I'm right or not. I don't have to make sure that you know you're wrong. It shouldn't be the way that it is in society. You can look around and you can see that, yes, hey, something go down, man, I got to let you know that I'm right. Okay, so you're right. Then what? What was gained from that? A pat on the back of the ego. The ego swelled up some more. We got nothing fruitful or productive from being right. And sometimes wanting to be right has led to some of the most tragic moments in people's lives, all over having to be right. But look at it for what it is, truly. Let's look at it clearly. Do I have to be right to be okay myself? Here's something else that we got to cut loose, and that's expectations. We got to cut off the expectations of others, or even the expectations of something or an outcome. How can we do that? Maybe I can stop expecting you to treat me away. If you think about that, when we've got problems with people, the problem is, hey, I expect you to do something, or I expect you to treat me away, or I expect, because when you don't, you've let me down. Now my expectation is the reason that I'm furious. It's the reason that I'm ready to cut you off. It's the reason that I'm ready to fight. It's the reason that whatever it is that I'm thinking that's a negative emotion or a negative reaction, I expect you to love me a certain way. And that's heavy in relationships, because how does that fare in relationships with, hey, you mean to tell me we can't expect? I expect my girlfriend, or I expect my wife, or I expect my husband to do this. And on the surface level, I can understand that statement as far as, we expect some things. But when we look at this at truly a deeper level, if I didn't expect anything from you, that means I would be okay with whatever happened. I'd have to be okay with whatever happened. Now, that doesn't mean I prefer it. But if I'm okay with it, that means I'm not going to get bent out of shape because it didn't turn out how I wanted. Not to the point of where I'm depressed. Not to the point of where I can't shake this feeling. Not to the point where I'm taking PTO because I'm crying and not eating over something not turning out the way that I wanted it to or didn't want it to. That's where the suffering comes from, y'all. That's where the pain comes from. That's where the stress comes from. That's where not being able to shake a feeling loose comes from. It's denying what's already happening or what has happened. It's just like a kid when they, if you see a toddler throw a tantrum, they may say, hey, Mom, I want some ice cream. And and you say, hey, well, there's no more. You can't have any. And then they just fall out. And they lose their minds, spinning in the floor, kicking and doing all that. And nothing is changing because there's no ice cream there. But that baby is giving everything it's got into this tantrum over something that it can't control. And that's how we do as adults. That's how we do. We spend more energy and more time in how we feel about something that happened. More time and energy talking and gossiping about it, reliving the story, thinking about all the negative in it. We spend more time there than more time on thinking of a solution. More time on healing. More time on what was the lesson in it. And see, we think that detachment means it's like the end of something, or it's the end of this relationship with, if it's a person. But no, it's the beginning. It's the beginning. It's the start of something new, something better, a real relationship, a true love, a true experience of just appreciation for someone. Man, that's next level, I'm telling you. Just think about relationships being where people feel safe enough to be their authentic selves, not just romantic relationships, but friendships, people we know, partnerships. Think about it if you felt okay to be your authentic self, where you felt okay enough to say no sometimes and still love that person and it still not affect the relationship. Detachment isn't a bad thing. You detachment looks like you living fearless, but with boundaries for other people. Detachment looks like you maybe crying after something hurt you, maybe hurting and mourning, maybe grieving, but being able to pick yourself up, being able to hold your head high, wipe yourself off. Detachment looks like you when life may be chaotic and filled with drama and filled with things that we don't prefer, but you still have a place and still have a way to get joy, and you still have joy and peace. That's someone who's unstoppable. That's someone who's invincible. Imagine that. If nothing could just blow you away like the wind could, were you still able to be anchored because you don't identify with your problems? We identify with our problems and our situations. Our life isn't who we are. I know it looks like it. Our problems aren't who we are. If you want peace with it or peace with that person, whatever it is, you've got to detach from it. Point blank, period. If something's if something's got you, something's got a hold on you, and you want peace with it, you want this to stop, you got to detach from it. That means you can't be looking for the approval of others. You can't be worried about their opinions. You got to detach. There's an old quote that I wrote. It says, if my day can go, if my day can only be as good as you treat me, that means I'm a true prisoner of myself and my thoughts. Set yourself free and peace will find you. See, when we can truly detach from things and detach from needing to be right, detach from feeling like people should do what we think they should do. Once we can do that, peace finds us. We don't even have to try to figure certain things out, and your life just starts to be filled and consumed with opportunities for so many things, opportunities and space to be who you truly are. Your days are better. We can't have peace and not want them to think of us a certain and want them to think of us a certain way. How we can't have our cake and eat it too. Yeah, I want to be free. I'm tired of hurting. But I don't want them to think I was meaning this because I wasn't meaning that. And here you are at home in your bed, worried with maybe what someone else may be thinking or feeling. Wow. Wow. Have you ever noticed, even in relationships, like many couples, they'll argue, they'll fight, they'll be crying and there'll be blaming. They'll be sitting maybe with a therapist, and one will be saying, I just want to be happy. I want to be free. I want to feel good in this relationship. All the while, they're not willing to make the detachment that's necessary in order for that. Because you're going to run into situations with people anytime where we have relationships. There's going to be conflict and disagreements. There's going to be things that don't go our way. But what are we going to do with it? We can't fuss about what we want and where we want to be and not be willing to do this work. And the work, like I always say, comes back to us. It is the inward look. It is the inward work that we've got to do in order to be set free, y'all. You don't want to be that person that's always at the mercy of your situation. Meaning, I'm at the mercy of my problems. My life is only as good as how many problems and how many disagreements or what people may think. No. We have to find a way, y'all, to make everything in life work for us. It's got to serve us by definition. We don't work for our problems. Our problems work for us. You don't work for the scars and the hard times that you've had to go through. They work for you. There's a lesson in it all. What can we see from it? How can we look at it differently? What can we get out of it? Y'all, there's so much that is shown to us through the trials, through the rough times. I like to call those times the great mirror. The great mirror, because life is always reflecting back to you where you are. Always. So don't be discouraged by the reflection, but do something about it. It's kind of like waking up in the morning, looking in the mirror, seeing that, man, maybe I've got my hair all over my head, got crust in my eyes. I just look crazy. It's like, sheesh. And then throw a fit because of how I look. Or could I do something? Maybe I don't want to go get that comb. Maybe I don't want to have to go and get the washcloth to wipe my face. But that's what's got to be done to make the image reflect something different. So we've got to do something different internally so that life reflects something back more beautiful. We make the change, not wait on the mirror to show us a change. No. We make the change by doing this, by detaching, by making sure I don't identify, by making sure I'm not expecting an outcome and throwing a temper tantrum when what has already happened, what has happened, had to happen and was meant to happen. That's something we can't control. We've got to mature enough to the point where we can accept that. You know, there aren't many things in life. There aren't many of them in life that you have just, total, complete, supreme, undisputed control over. You could say your kids, but not really. There's some loopholes with that. But the one thing that you do and always have that kind of power is your internal state. It is always at your beck and call. You are always the CEO, the top dog. You. Think about that. You're in control of how you feel. It's not going to feel good. It's not easy because we're used to doing things how we do things. But this is the recipe. If you want that change, if you've been wrestling with something that's had a real hold on you, you see it comes up in patterns and all aspects of your life, not just maybe one relationship, but maybe it's everywhere. You got to get those scissors out. There's some cutting to do. It wouldn't be right if I didn't give y'all a quote. I don't remember who wrote the quote. Forgive me for that, but I do remember it went like, detachment doesn't mean non-involvement. You can be deeply involved, but not entangled. Wow. I can love you and not get caught in the web of approval and the web of just emotional blackmail, because I'm free internally, true freedom. Think about your own life. Think about it. Think about those moments that get you that you can't shake. Why? Ask yourself why. And the more that we do this, the more that you do this, it's going to become easier and easier for you. And you're going to truly experience peace in your life. You're going to see things that bothered you not even register anymore. You're becoming a new you, or rather the real you, should I say. I encourage us all to know that no matter what the topic, no matter what the issue is, it all roots back to self. It all will point back to, what am I willing to do internally? That's what Thinkers Anonymous is all about. It's about not pointing out what someone else is doing and telling you how many types of people to watch out for, but equipping you with just the tools to clear your vision so that you can see who you truly are. I've got no 12-step program for you. I don't have a do this, do that, but I can help for you to see who you are. And you take your journey. Your path is your path. But I'd rather own nothing than for something to own me. Because whatever's got you like that, it owns you. Whatever's got you, it owns you. It's like the puppet master. You have to truly be willing to let it go. Can you let go of being right? Can you let go of what they think? Can you let go of a preferred outcome of how you want it to be, your vision? Can you still be okay and not spin around on the floor like a kid because some milk spilled? No, let's wipe it up. Let's take some steps. These steps. So don't feel discouraged by what you see. Don't let that mirror fool you. That mirror is only showing you where you are. That mirror is giving you a lot of valuable and priceless data. Because with you seeing you, you can make the necessary change. Wipe those eyes out. Get that hair comb. There's some relationships we got to cut off. There's some ways we can't think. There's some ways we got to speak that are different. But you can do it. You can do it. I'm rooting for you. I'm praying for you. I believe in you. We got this. So until next time, let's keep it rolling, y'all. Let's make sure that we're clipping the ties that need to be cut. Cutting the relationships that need to be no more. Detaching from our own limitations so that we can be free. I love y'all. Peace.